views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hello and welcome to Open, the one and only show that opens the Bronx and the rest of the world to you. I'm your host, Veronica Guiti, filling in for Darren Jaime. Today we'll update you on what's happening in and around our community. Coming up on today's show, we'll give you the latest on the 6.9 magnitude earthquake that shook parts of Japan yesterday, as well as an update on the Dominican Republic North Coast disaster. Plus, weeks after winning the presidential election, President-elect Donald Trump has some Americans wondering how much our nation is going to change once he's in office. We'll have our political commentator here to discuss further on this topic. And then good news for sports lovers. BronxNet's newest sports segment with reporter Tatiana Parrish will be aired for the first time on this show. You don't want to miss this, as well as the weekly sports roundup from sports guru Bobby C. All this and much more is headed your way because we are now officially open. Hello everyone, I'm your host Veronica Guiti, and today is Wednesday, November 23rd, and of course you're watching Open, a live program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. We want to encourage you to stay connected to us. You can find us on Twitter at BronxNet TV and Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. Kicking off the show with some updates, a young Bronx soldier is dead after being shot in Peru, Indiana, where he was serving. 24-year-old Kevin Paulino joined active duty service in May as an infantryman and was assigned to the 2nd Squadron, 3rd Cavalry Regiment, 1st Cavalry Division at Fort Hood in September. According to Army officials, Paulino suffered from a fatal gunshot wound before taking his last breath at the Army base in Texas. The incident continues to be under investigation. Our hearts are with the family. Paulino's honors include the National Defense Service Medal and Army Service Ribbon. In other news, the two men connected to the September Bronx House explosion that killed FDNY Battalion Chief Michael Fay are facing 6 new counts of second-degree assault. According to the District Attorney's Office, 32-year-old Garibaldi Castillo and 34-year-old Julio Salcedo were arraigned in state Supreme Court in the Bronx on Monday, with new charges tied to people who were injured during the deadly explosion. Authorities say that men turned the second-floor apartment of a house on Kingsbridge into a large marijuana growing operation that used large amounts of propane and fertilizer, which played a big role in the blast. If convicted on all charges, both Castillo and Salcedo will face up to 25 years in prison. The head conjoined twins, who were separated in a 27-hour surgery at the Children's Hospital at Montefiore, are recovering faster than expected. 14-month-old boys Jaden and Ananias McDonald are set to move to rehab shortly after Thanksgiving, 6 weeks after the surgery that separated them. The parents of the twins, Nicole and Christian McDonald, stand amazed after seeing their boys without bandages and signs of a perfectly shaped head and hairline with natural curly hair. Doctors are also surprised by their fast recovery, being that this was the most complicated surgery of such an operation. The previous record for recovering from a craniophagus surgery was 8 weeks. City and state officials came together on the campus of Bronx Community College for the opening of the college's newly renovated quadrangle. The $50 million facility completes the vision of architect Stanford White at the turn of the last century. Features include pedestrian pathways, ornamental trees, and other paintings, benches and tables, bicycle racks, lamps, Wi-Fi, and much more. The first homeless shelter for the LGBT community is coming to the Bathgate section of the Bronx. The shelter is scheduled to open next month with 80 beds for ages 21 and 30. According to local leaders, the special facility is needed because the LGBT community homeless often face violence and harassment in regular shelters. Studies find up to 40% of homeless youth are operated by the Project Renewal Ridge Special Shelter and will have services like counseling, HIV medical service, and on-site psychiatrists, among other exclusive services. As we get closer to the holiday season, Council member Andy Kane hosted the 12th annual Make the Grade Foundation Gala to honor those who are great leaders in our community. One of them happens to be the host of our Monday version of Open, Dr. Bob Lee. BronxNet reporter Arlene Makoko has more.
The City Council's Art and Music Award from the 12th district, I represent the 12th, to Dr. Bob Lee, which gives a history of the good doctor.
A+ was the only score in the room, filled with corporate A-listers and community leaders coming out for the 12th annual Make the Grade Foundation Gala at Terrace on the Park.
We want to make sure that our young people can see a future ahead at different companies like UPS and other sponsors that he might have.
That's what Making the Grade is all about. With a presence citywide, Frederick Douglass Academy, located in Harlem, is a school. Founder of Make the Grade, Dr. Bob Lee of WBLS WLIB, chose to install a radio station to give students hands-on experience and leadership skills.
I would like to do culinary arts. I would like to attend ICE, International Culinary Education College.
The goal is to be a businessman, an investor.
The evening, packed with fun and entertainment, was also about giving students an academic edge.
Students, I want to ask a simple question. What do you want to do when you graduate? And if you get it on and pop it, you get it percolating, you start thinking about it, maybe 9 times out of 10 they will follow their dreams.
If you believe that you can do it, you can do it. Don't be discouraged. Don't let anybody tell you you can't, and go that extra mile.
Honorees of the evening included Rod Ivey, father of former NBA player and current assistant coach for the Oklahoma City Thunder's Royal Ivey, and New York City committeewoman of the 29th Assembly District and founder of You Can Go to College, Teresa Clark.
And we started prepping the students for the SATs. The SAT scores were soaring to the point where their GPA was already great.
These basketball wishes and dreams are hard to come by, and even if you do make it, the career's short. So you need a backup plan.
Also there, New York City Councilman Andy King, who announced a $25,000 grant to be awarded to Evander Childs High School for a new radio station.
I applaud Dr. Bob Lee. You know, I had the privilege of meeting him 10 years ago on the set of Open, and ever since then we've been great friends.
Well, you heard it here first. Make the Grade is coming to the Bronx in the form of a state-of-the-art studio at Evander Childs High School, thanks to City Councilman King. If you'd like more information, you can go to makethegrade.org. For BronxNet, this is Arlene Makoko.
Thank you so much, Arlene. That looks like it was a lot of fun. I don't know if you noticed, but there was a Prince impersonator there. Congratulations, Bob. It looks like you all had a wonderful time, and I hope that it was a great success. When we come back, we'll give you an update on the 6.9 magnitude earthquake that shook parts of Japan, as well as the conditions in the Dominican Republic after a coastal disaster. Don't go anywhere.
It's not always easy being a dad.
Do you have panda asthma too? Does that run in the family?
This is the home of the most priceless kung fu artifacts.
But when you make an effort...
Dad, we're not supposed to touch anything. Oh, sorry.
Go along, son!
It's always worth it.
Whoa! Master!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
I am gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
You gotta learn your body, pace yourself, and have fun. So let's go have fun. Let's go do it.
The tricky thing about shoulders, your shoulders is a 3-tier muscle. You have your front delts, you have your rear delts, and you have your mid delts. So when you're working out your shoulders properly, you have to do 3 different exercises.
it's wonderful being able to compete with a lot of these young guys from all over the world. It's important to stay in shape.
Welcome back. After a 7.4 magnitude earthquake shook the eastern coast of Japan early Tuesday morning, a tsunami advisory was issued, bringing back heartbreaking memories for locals of the Fukushima disaster in 2011. The quake struck near the nuclear plant and thousands of people were asked to evacuate the area with minor injuries reported. We were supposed to have a phone discussion with the president of the Menton Academy Foundation, but due to weather conditions in DR, she's unable to call in. But we have an update for you. In Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, to be exact, heavy rains wrecked parts of the country and at least 8 of the country's 31 provinces are under a state of emergency. President Danilo Medina declared the emergency as the crisis unfolded. According to officials, more than 20,000 people of the country's north coast have already been displaced due to heavy rains that hit the country nonstop for more than 2 weeks. As of now, 5 people are dead and 13 have been rescued. Thousands of people have also been evacuated, including 700 inmates in Santiago. We'll continue to have updates on this story, and we are wishing for all the best for Maria. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Stay safe. We have to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Open.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
What's up? What's happening today?
Let's go, Pearly Whites, man.
Yeah. The boys, check it out. Stand up, do my challenge, go compare us.
Ooh, cute.
Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
Hey girl, what's up? What's the name? What's good? What's up?
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Sir, go and step out of the vehicle for me.
Yes, sir. See ya, buddy. Today, Sean's got a hearing. We'll see how it goes. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But you probably won't. You're busy. Kids, work, show coming back in 48 seconds. So let's do this now. Hold up 1 finger if you're a man. Women, 0. 3 more fingers if you're over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40. If you're not sure, keep in mind you're sitting on a couch right now, so 1 more finger if you're not very active. 1 finger if yes, 0 if no. 1 yes, 0 no. Next, find the body type that looks most like you and hold up that many fingers while I look around awkwardly. And that's it. If you're holding up 5 fingers or more, you probably have prediabetes. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey, you're busy. Just go to the site.
I grew up in the housing projects of Cleveland. I didn't even know that life could be any better than it was. Education for me has been a way to get away from the agony of what was normal life. I want to be able to impact the community, not just look back on where I came from, but to reach back to where I came from and pull some people up with me. My name is David, and I am your dividend.
What are you, superheroes?
Just 4 brothers who hate bullies and love this city. Gear up, guys.
Welcome back to Open. I'm Veronica Guiti, and you're watching Open. The Tata Consultancy Services New York City Marathon brought in thousands of people from all over the world. BronxNet reporter Katia Lloyd-Knight was there, and she's here to tell us more.
It's another year of TCS New York City Marathon. This time around, over 137 countries have participated. Families and friends of runners also came out to support the runners and the event, and they made signs to prove it.
I'm here to support my sister, bib number 59181. We're all here to support me and my whole family, and to shout everybody else out that's doing this run today. My sign? Well, when you run, sometimes you let out a little bit, so just wanted to keep everybody smiling.
Liz Rapawano and her fiance are all running in the marathon, second time.
It's great, we're actually on our way over. We're going to go and meet them at Central Park and see the end of the race. And, for all the runners out here, it's an incredible accomplishment what they're doing as individuals, but each one of them has chosen a cause that they believe in to help others, which is actually the greatest thing. The runners need a little distraction and a little humor, so this was one of the signs we came up with.
Just to keep them going.
Just to keep them going. And then, of course, this one, which is apolitical, not political at all, if you think about it. So we made this one in honor of the election, because everybody should be running away scared.
As the runners continued to take their strides to the finish line, they were entertained by drummers and WTV music records to get them moving.
And we're encouraging everyone out here to keep running and let them know when they come to the South Bronx, we'll welcome them each and every city, country, all around the world. That when you come through here, you're welcome, and we encourage you to finish.
And we're here celebrating all the New York City Marathon runners.
We want them to remember the South Bronx. And the best way to remember the South Bronx is with the best music.
This year's TCS New York City Marathon had a record number of 51,388 finishers, making it the new mark as the largest marathon in the world. Stay tuned as we gear up for next year. For BronxNet, this is Katie Loy Knight.
Thank you, Katia. In other news, while President-elect Donald Trump prepares himself for the White House, his supporters are taking some matters into their own hands. Suggestions of rewriting the American Constitution have been brought up, as well as white supremacists displaying racism and anti-Semitism of the alt-right movement. Before we go on any further with this topic, let's welcome our political commentator, J.C. Polanco, educator at Borough of Manhattan Community College. How many times have I said that and I'm still getting it wrong?
Okay.
J.C., it's always good to have you here.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's why you see us joyful, because we're talking about Thanksgiving, not about what was going on.
Yeah.
Talking about Thanksgiving during the break, but we have to get on to hard news.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the rewriting of the Constitution. This is something I've never heard of. I didn't even know that it could be done again, but there's rumors going around. I don't know if you could call it rumors, that this is actually or may happen. Can it?
I think the country is in the midst of big changes as far as the people and their activism and how they're voting and what messages they're responding to. Mm-hmm. I think that this is one of the things that gets people excited and could get a lot of press, but I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah. I think that since President-elect Trump won his election, people are thinking that, hey, if President Trump could get elected, who knows, this may be a good time to push through a constitutional convention. Those are very hard. First of all, it's very hard for us to have one. You need the approval of an overwhelming majority of the states to actually allow for this to happen, where they would send delegates, and the delegates would meet and talk about revisiting on how to rewrite the Constitution. Like, that's never going to happen. Mm-hmm. The Constitution was designed to be very difficult to change. As a matter of fact, if you count the Bill of Rights as being the first 10 amendments of the Constitution has only been amended 17 times since the beginning of our country. So it's something that's very hard to get done, and it's done for a reason. The founders did it this way so that every time someone gets an idea that's ridiculous, that it just doesn't go through and become part of our Constitution, because you would need so much consensus among the country, not only the federal government, but all the different states. So I don't think it's going to happen, but this is something that many people have spoken about.
But why now? Why do you think this is an
Because
idea
this is a great
coming up?
opportunity now. I mean, think about it. We just got a man elected who's never served in office before, who got elected on a very, very interesting message. And they think that maybe perhaps there's some coattails to that that can actually get us talking about revisiting the Constitution, rewriting the Constitution. And quite frankly, I can see Bernie Sanders supporters and Donald Trump supporters uniting on this front.
Why?
Well, because both of them have been asking for some really different things. You know, on one end, you have Donald Trump campaigning for over a year and a half, talking about deporting 11 million people, ending these trade agreements between the United States and other countries, adding tariffs to anybody that decides to leave our country, repatriating monies that were sent away. So there's so many different things that we really have never examined, that perhaps there is some movement in the country for us to revisit. How can the president maybe have the authority to do this without dealing with Congress? Mm-hmm. How can Congress have a different role? I mean, you can see that happening. And on the other hand, you have Bernie Sanders, who's asking for things that are really insane, like free college education. I mean, we laugh about. I laugh. That's insane. Because first of all,
tell us, why do you think it's insane?
I think it's insane because look, you can't give everybody a free college education. How many schools are we building? How many professors are we hiring? There's only so many PhDs to go around. Mm-hmm. And what majors are you going to cover? And what's going to be the incentive for these colleges? I mean, there's so many questions that are up in the air when you talk about some of these extreme measures.
And what are the topics? What are some of the top topics that you think they would want to change in the Constitution?
I think that you have some on the left that would want to change the way that we actually fund campaigns. I think that they have a problem with the fact that, you know, you need almost $2 billion between the candidates to run a general election for the presidency. I think some on the left would want to change that. I think some on the right would want to end abortion rights, for example. I think that would be something where they would include that people have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, even children that are unborn. These are some of the things that I think you can see codified in the Constitution, so that there are no questions asked. And I can definitely see both extremes wanting one. I don't see it happening because at the end of the day, we meet along middle grounds, and you have some conservatives and some moderate Democrats that are not going to approve of a constitutional convention under the climate that we're under, because you may very well see the end of abortion rights, and imagine what that would mean for the country and women that do support abortion rights.
Do you think this is something that Trump would want to go after?
I don't think so. I don't think not right now. I think he's focusing on appointments. I think he's focusing on making sure that the country feels comfortable with his presidency. I think he's focusing on hiring some of the best people that can give him the best advice on how to run the government. So I don't think this is something that's anywhere in his radar. I may be wrong. I've been wrong all year, so who knows?
Well, he has a lot on his plate right now. You know, there's a lot that we're focusing on what he's saying, but I wanted to go back on the white supremacists, on how they had their victory on Saturday, celebrating his campaign, but then his people say that this is something that Trump does not represent.
Right. His people are very clear that he disavows those events, and people that are saying these things, we have to be very careful. And I want your viewers to remember, I was never Trump, and I'm a Republican today who was never Trump to the end, and I'm a man without a home, a little bit at least. So I'm going to be very honest with you. We have crazes in both parties. We have Democrats that are out of their minds. We have Republicans that are out of their minds. And the press, yourself, and I think the public has to be very careful on blaming candidates and leaders of parties for the crazies that are, you know, out there celebrating their victories. You know, in this case, unfortunately, we have some neo-Nazis that are very happy with Donald Trump's campaign and Donald Trump's victory. I can see why. They're highlighting the fact that Donald Trump came hard after Islam. He came hard against illegal immigration, and came hard against Mexicans. So they may view that as the reason why they should feel proud that one of their own has won and he's going to save the white race. But that's just a very skewed logic because, you know, let's be honest, Donald Trump didn't just win with white people or white races. Quite frankly, he united a lot of people. 30% of the Hispanic community voted for him. I'm reading upwards of 10% of African Americans supported him. 53% of white women supported him against a female candidate. So it's not exactly fair, Veronica, to say that the people that voted for Donald Trump are all bigots, and any bigots that celebrates Trump is somebody that Trump associates with. And I've heard from him, I've heard from Pence, Vice President-elect Pence, and I've heard from his campaign repeatedly that they disavow these people. Sadly, I think he has a lot to do to really step it up and remind the country that he's the president for everyone, and that he really he discourages, disavows, and really hopes that these types of events proclaiming victory because of his election stop. And I think minorities will feel more comfortable as we move along and see him do more of this.
All right, stay right there. We have to take a quick break, but I believe when we return, we're going to continue on with Trump and his campaign and what changes he's actually going to make. We'll be right back after these messages.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally. I did. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls. But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that strollers have the right of way on a sidewalk?
Yes.
Yep, I did. Did you guys
Did you know that kids who eat breakfast have higher GPAs?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That's actually what I was going to say.
Did you know babies should never touch silver? It's really bad for them.
I knew that.
Did you guys know that statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
I'm putting that on my blog.
I just put it in mine.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
What's up? What's happening today?
Let's go, Pearly Whites, man.
Yeah. The boys, check it
Ooh, cute.
Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
Hey girl, what's up? What's the name? What's good? What's up?
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Sir, go and step out of the vehicle for me.
Yes, sir. See ya, buddy. Today, Sean's got a hearing. We'll see how it goes. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Welcome back to Open. We're here with JC. We're going to continue on the conversation. So a lot of people were really worried about what was going on with Trump. Well, you know what? I shouldn't say they were really worried because he's our president-elect.
Okay.
But I have to say that a lot of people are wondering what exactly he's going to do once he gets into office, because he's starting to change a little bit some of his campaign talk that he was talking about.
It's natural for a president-elect to shift on some of the things that they campaigned on when reality hits.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, I'm president.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to do this anymore.
It's very hard. I mean, you have to remember, we're talking about a person that said he's going to deport 11 million people with a deportation force and stop Muslims from coming in. It was, insanity.
It's a lot. He was going to put Hillary in jail. Now that's not so important to him.
Well, that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing for him to curb back some of his excitement that he portrayed in the campaign trail. You know, he came up with his address to the country, discussing his transition. And right now, he mentioned very clearly that he's focusing on getting the best people in the cabinet. He just appointed Nikki Haley as ambassador to the United Nations from the United States. Some other appointments are a little concerning. Senator Jeff Sessions from Alabama for Attorney General, and General Flynn for National Security Advisor. I mean, there's some that are concerning, then there's some good ones. And right now he's focusing on that, but I think there are some things that are going to happen. For example, there's no question that President-elect Trump is going to put something in place for us to begin the process of deporting criminal undocumented immigrants. There's no question about it.
Do you think that he's going to be on hard, especially on Mexico, because it seems like he's trying to make amends when it comes to that statement that he said. He said, okay, maybe not a wall, maybe a fence.
But remember, when he said a wall, or he said like he's okay with the fence, that really means that geographically it's very difficult to put a wall in some parts of the border because of the terrain. So you obviously are going to need a fence. So I think he's going to have a different position depending on what part of the 2,000 plus mile border we're talking about. You can have places where you can only have cameras and actual officials, and then some parts you can have fences, and et cetera. So I think he's going to have that border. He's going to create there's no question there's going to be a wall of some kind separating us from Mexico to protect the border. But I definitely think you're going to see deportations of undocumented immigrants. I also think there's going to be some serious discussion on defunding sanctuary cities, especially now that the Republicans have the majority in both houses. You're going to see Congress take action on cities like New York, Philadelphia, San Francisco, that are protecting people that are here undocumented by not telling our immigration officials that they have people here that need to be deported. But take it a step further. Let's say there's some compromise between the Trump administration and these cities. Well, these cities are going to have to relent on allowing for criminal undocumented immigrants to be reported to the ICE or to immigration officials. And the reason for that is in New York City, just last year, the city council got rid of the ICE offices in Rikers. So what happens is that you have people that are here undocumented, that barring that it's a heinous crime, they won't be reported to the immigration officials as being here undocumented. That's a problem, and I think there's a lot of consensus around the country. Rasmussen poll yesterday came out, 87% of the country is in favor of deporting criminal undocumented immigrants immediately. This is something that the whole country is in favor of. So I think you're going to see some things on immigration move rather quickly. I also think that President-elect Trump, is going to focus on rebuilding infrastructure. This is something that's very important to him, something that he campaigned on. And quite, tongue-in-cheek, something that I find interesting is that President Obama wanted something similar in the Jobs Act. Right. It didn't go anywhere. This time around, it may very well have the votes. A general infrastructure plan in Congress pushed forward by the Trump administration, because the financing will be different. It won't be a tax hike. It would actually be incentives for construction construction companies to actually participate. So you're going to have a different financial system for the infrastructure and the redevelopment of our highways, our bridges, our airports across the country. So you're going to see some good things happening. And I have a feeling that he's going to want to hit the ground running. So
you think these are the top 3 things that he's going to focus on
so.
Once he gets into office?
Yeah, I think so. And I have to be honest, I'm from the school of thought that President Obama introduced us to on Thursday after the election, where he said he will be our president. His success is our success, and he wishes him success. So we have to be positive. We have to make sure that we complain when things are bad, but we have to be hopeful and give this person the opportunity to have success as president. And I know that's controversial for some, because what does that success look like? Does it mean massive deportations? Does it mean massive tax cuts for the wealthy? I mean, I know a lot of Bronxers are concerned with that, but when I define success, I define it like President Obama. I mean, job creation. I mean, us being on top. I think it's important for us to defeat ISIS. All these things are important. And if President Trump is successful, then we're successful. We should be hopeful.
Well, it's definitely going to be a topic of discussion tomorrow for Thanksgiving. Let's hope it doesn't separate the family.
I think it will in some.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I hope that you and your family have a wonderful time.
Thank you so much. You too.
All right. Right now, we're going to go to a break, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Barry, time is running out. According to my calculations, 1 in 5 kids in America struggles with hunger. How can so many children face hunger when there's more than enough food to feed them all? You're right, Barry. We can help solve hunger by teaming up with Feeding America to get food to hungry kids in communities across the country.
Help Flint and the Feeding America network of food banks get food to the people who need it in your community. Find your local Feeding America food bank at feedingamerica.org/hunger.
Together, we're Feeding America. Welcome back to Open. Time out. No, we're not going to break yet, but I'm talking about Tatiana's newest segment covering all the local sports in the Bronx. Let's take a closer look with reporter Tatiana Parrish.
Hey everyone, you're watching the first episode of Time Out with Tatiana. I'm your host, Tatiana Parrish, and you're going to have exclusive access to coaches, players, and stories of your local college and high school sports teams that you can only find here. Stay connected to us through social media. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Time Out with Tatiana. And don't worry, we do follow back. Coming up on today's segment, the Hostos Caymans will go toe-to-toe with the Union County Redhawks. Plus, I have the weekly matchups on your local college teams. Next, I have the inside story on Fordham Rams University women's basketball team and what they expect for the upcoming season. And you'll get to see the Fordham Rams take on the Furman Paladins in their season opener. Hostos has a tough battle ahead against Union County. The Lady Caymans have to stop their point guard if they expect to win. Let's take a look to see what happens. The Lady Caymans enter the game 2-2. The Redhawks are ranked 20th in the country. Destiny Green penetrates the paint, kicking the ball to Karina Coles for the deep corner three, and it's good. Keontae Johnson with the putback layup. The Caymans pressure the Redhawks, forcing a turnover. 37-32 at the half. The Redhawks are down by 5. Fulcher steals the ball and dishes to Smith for the easy layup. Caymans are down by 1 with 4 minutes remaining on the clock. Cesario with a 3, putting the Redhawks up by 5. The score is 61-65. Destiny Green blows by the defense, finishing strong at the rim. Dawson splits the trap, dishes to Johnson for the easy bucket. Green drives, swishes the wide open 3. Caymans are down by 2 with 57 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Fulcher, wide open on the perimeter, knocks down the clutch 3, putting the Caymans up by 1. The score is 69-68 with 21 seconds remaining on the clock. Robinson cuts back door but misses the layup. Smith closes the game with 2 free throws. The Lady Caymans defeat the Redhawks 71-69.
It was a great win for our team, a great win for our program. This team, Union County College, was out here 2 years ago. They beat us by a score of 101-50. So even though I wasn't the coach and none of the girls were here, it was something that we remember as a program, something that we didn't want to give them again.
Got to take it one play at a time, so that's what I did to help the team out. And my teammates just kept encouraging me, and that's what we need today. Now we got to focus on this weekend.
The weekly matchup will consist of Hostos and Bronx Community College battling for the Bronx. I put my money on Hostos for both men and women's teams to take the Bronx. Bronx Community College will host the Caymans. The women's game starts at 6 p.m. and the men will play at 8 p.m. Now it's time for the inside story on the Fordham Rams. We sat down with 3 extraordinary seniors who graduated early and they won the AC-10 conference together their freshman year. Let's take a look. Playing with each other since their freshman year has created an unbreakable bond between the seniors.
I think being together since freshman year, we've been through it all. We've been through the winning seasons, winning championships together. We've been through a losing season. I think it's just really cool being able to do it with the same group of girls our whole time.
Danielle Burns elaborates on the difficulty of balancing academics and basketball.
Studies and visual arts, so it's trying to figure out how to put the schedule, especially around basketball season, and which classes to take and the core requirements. I know they were the same major, so a lot of times they had classes together so they could kind of help each other out. But it was definitely trying to figure out the timing of everything and make sure that you were able to graduate within the summer before this year.
The seniors can't get enough of each other, not only on the court, but they spend a lot of time studying together since they are all majoring in media management for grad school.
We are in the sewing program. It's really nice. We have a lot of classes together. We work on a lot of projects together. So it's really nice just all like being together and taking the Ram van home at 10 o'clock at night. But yeah, I mean, it really worked out for the best. I mean, we're all really happy with where we are, and it's nice to be together.
Hannah Misery holds the record for most three-pointers made.
When I broke the three-point record, I tried not thinking about it. I know I had a lot of friends, a lot of coaches kind of reminding me, oh, you only need 10 more, this 5 more, and I tried not to think about it, you know. I mean, especially when I take a shot, I take it because I'm open, and my teammates were looking for me extra that game because they knew I was going to get it.
Having 3 seasons underneath their belts gives the seniors an understanding of what the Rams need to do in order to win the AC-10 conference.
Especially us as leaders, we need to kind of nitpick on the little things now. I mean, especially because the season's starting, we really got to stay focused 100% of the time.
Just to build off of that, I mean, just stay confident. We've put a lot of hard work into the preseason and over the summer.
I think it's just the time that we come together and reap the benefits of all of our hard work.
Coach Gately believes her seniors' experience on the court will have a huge impact on the team.
I mean, all 3 have graduated and are getting their masters right now, which is in itself an unbelievable accomplishment. But they all have learned from good leaders before them, and I think they all take great pride in what we've built as a program. So all 3 have really outstanding leadership qualities.
After having a great week of practice, we'll see if it pays off in their first appearance of the season. If the Lady Rams defeat the Paladins, they will advance in the WNIT preseason tournament to take on a tougher team. Davis knocks down the jumper, starting off the Lady Rams. Jackson answers back with the mid-range shot. Misery sinks the 3 from behind the arc, giving the Lady Rams momentum. The Lady Rams lead 8-2. Jackson connects with Carter for the high-low. The Paladins cut down the Rams' lead. Paladins are down by 2. Burns shoots and she scores. The Rams lead 26-22 at the half. Holden splashes the 3. Kelly scores the bucket, pulling away from the Paladins. The score is 51-39. The Paladins fight to stay alive. The Paladins send the Lady Rams to the free throw line. Kreslina goes 4 for 4 from the free throw line. The Rams defeat the Paladins 60-47. That's all for today. Join me next week where I will give you highlights and exclusive updates on your local Bronx sports. For BronxNet, Tatiana Parrish.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages with the sports roundup from Bobby C.
My
are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
It's not always easy being a dad.
Do you have panda asthma too? Does that run in the family? This is the home of the most priceless kung fu artifacts.
But when you make an effort,
Dad, we're not supposed to touch anything. Oh, sorry. Go long, son.
it's always worth it.
Whoa, faster!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
I am gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
This is Bobby C, and on a gusty and chilly Sunday afternoon at MetLife Stadium, it did take the Giants a few quarters to get into action, but they came back against the Chicago Bears, and then the defense sealed it in a 22-16 win. Giants are playing very well. We go inside the locker room for more. Two touchdowns for Eli Manning this afternoon, but more importantly, no turnovers.
I'm just proud of the way the guys are finding ways to win. Every game's been a little different. They've all been close. They've all come down, to the last series. And so, offense, defense, everybody's stepping up and doing their part to get wins.
I think Eli handled the elements well, took care of the football, and a tough day to do that. We believe all three phases have the capability to step up and make plays in the ballgame to help us win.
Not to be outdone, the defense made some big plays when it had to. Landon Collins in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. He comes up with the big one, an interception of Jay Cutler in the final minutes.
We definitely were expecting a deep ball, definitely a deep ball, either a deep ball or a screen, but they went deep. They needed the first down or get the score. I had to set back that, waited on it. I mean, it's no purpose of me playing close to the line of scrimmage when it's, let's say, 30-20, right? So just played back, saw that, and the ball just sailed, and I just came underneath and caught it.
We need to start faster. That's the main thing. We can't put ourselves in situations where, we got to feel like our back's against the wall now. We gotta start at the gate and play our game. So I'm glad we got a W, but we still got things to work on.
Eli Manning's go-ahead 15-yard touchdown pass to rookie Sterling Shepard in the third quarter rallied the G-men for their fifth straight win. New York is thriving and continues to fly up the NFL rankings. They are in their highest position in nearly a half-decade in ESPN's rankings. If the season ended today, they would be the NFC's top wildcard team ahead of division rival Washington for the number 5 seed. My Super Bowl pick of Giants-Pats looking pretty good. And that matchup with Dallas in a couple of weeks at MetLife is looking even better. Big Blue is still the only team to give the boys an L this season, and that came in week 1. As for this weekend, the Giants are in Cleveland for the 0-11 Browns. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. Meanwhile, no one can save the Jets season, not Ryan Fitzpatrick or Bryce Petty. At 3-7, Gang Green should hand the keys to second-year signal caller Petty to determine if he can be the starter for 2017. But instead, they will turn back to Fitz, having the worst year of his career Sunday in East Rutherford as 8-2 New England comes to town. That game gets rolling at 1 p.m., and our BronxNet cameras will be in the building, hoping the talented but underachieving Jets can make it interesting. Maybe they can find that Fitz magic again. The Knicks found plenty of magic in second-year wonder Kristaps Porzingis Tuesday night at the Garden. Kristaps had 31 points and 9 rebounds. Playmaker Derrick Rose scored 6 of his 18 points down the stretch. And the Knicks toppled a good Portland Trailblazers team 107-103. The Orange and Blue is starting to come together. Phil Jackson and the players and coaches met on Saturday to talk about different issues surrounding the team. Star Carmelo Anthony said it was a good opportunity for everyone to speak freely and clear the air. The Knicks have been playing well ever since, and that included a 104-94 victory over Atlanta, where for the first time in 2 seasons they outscored their opponent over all 4 quarters at Madison Square Garden. That's consistency. But the best Knick nugget hit of the week belongs to Marshall Plumlee, who was playing for the Westchester Knicks last week until being summoned last minute over the weekend to come down to the world's most famous arena and defend Atlanta's Dwight Howard. Plumlee took a train and a cab and eventually had to sprint to the arena. He missed the first quarter Sunday but made it to MSG for his NBA debut a night after playing for Westchester. Cool story, bro. And now the Plumlees have NBA's history on their side. 3 brothers in the league at the same time. If you're counting, that's Mason, Miles, and Marshall. 'Tis the season for great charities as well. Anthony paired with local charities this week to provide 800 Thanksgiving meals for NYC families. This is something Mello has done in each of his 6 full seasons in New York. By the way, that picture of Mello, which we should be playing right now, is Mello's way of saying, pass me the rock and the turkey. The Brooklyn Nets came off a loss to Portland. They have slipped a bit. They are 4-9 and host Boston tonight at the Barclays Center. On the ice, meanwhile, JT Miller scored a shorthanded goal to cap a second period rally, helping the Rangers overcome an early 2-goal deficit to beat Pittsburgh 5-2 Monday night on the road. Now the Broadway Blue Shirts host the Pens tonight at MSG. The Isles beat Anaheim 3-2 last night in the shootout. They are in LA tonight to face the Kings. And the Devils will host Toronto. Puck drops at 7 p.m. for both the Rangers and the Devils. Islanders on the West Coast get going at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Time for some quick hitters from around the world of sports. Notre Dame football is in trouble with the NCAA. The NCAA has ordered the Fighting Irish to vacate all the wins from the 2012 and 2013 seasons due to an academic misconduct case. Notre Dame will appeal. The team was the national runner-up in 2012, losing to Alabama in the BCS title game and finishing 12-1. The Irish went 9-4 the next year. College football has some matchup in store this weekend. The Sparks are already flying around Michigan and Ohio State. That rivalry goes down at Ohio Stadium Saturday. Ohio State is ranked number 2 in the playoff, while Michigan is number 3. The stakes are enormous. This game will affect who goes to the Big Ten championship. If the Wolverines win, they're heading to Indy. If OSU wins, they could pass directly into the college football playoff, avoiding a detour to the Big Ten championship game if Penn State beats visiting Michigan State on Saturday. Michigan and Ohio State square off at noon. Kentucky has moved into the #1 spot in the Associated Press, men's basketball top 25, replacing Duke, which dropped to 6th following its narrow defeat to Kansas in the Champions Classic. The 4-0 Wildcats are slightly ahead of defending national champion Villanova. On the baseball diamond, the Bronx Bombers are listening to offers for Brett Gardner and Chase Headley. GM Brian Cashman said they are everyday players and won't be dealt unless the right trade comes along. Gardner recently won the American League Gold Glove in left field. The Yanks could target a new outfielder, though. Cashman confirmed that they have reached out to Mets free agent Yoenis Cespedes. Cespedes apparently is seeking a 5-year deal. One trade that looks like it's paying off is the Aroldis Chapman deal to Chicago. The Cubs, of course, won the World Series, riding the flame-throwing closer, while the centerpiece of the deal coming back to the Yankees looks like a stud for the future. Gleyber Torres, all of 19 years young, was named the Arizona Fall League's most valuable player, the youngest ever to win the award. He also won the batting title. Hopefully he's good in the majors too. As for Chapman, he said this week that he wants to return to the Bronx. He's a free agent and could come back and close this season for the Yankees. Former Heisman winner and NFL QB Tim Tebow didn't have the AFL experience that Torres did. His numbers were among the worst. But he can say one thing. One of his jerseys was a prized item, a jersey worn by Tebow for his first 2 weeks of the Fall League, sold for $2,232. NASCAR fans said goodbye to racing legend Tony Stewart. He ended his NASCAR career this past week with 49 career victories and 618 starts. It was a 22nd place finish for the 45-year-old driver and 3-time Sprint Cup champion at Homestead, Miami. But the crowd and the fellow drivers gave him a send-off like he finished first. The race to be the Formula One champion will be decided Sunday in Dubai. Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton, both of Mercedes, are duking it out. Rosberg has a 12-point lead heading into the event, meaning that he only needs to finish third if Hamilton wins the race. If Hamilton is second, Rosberg can finish 6th and take the title. Lewis, the 3-time champ, is the favorite in the race, having led Rosberg to the line in each of the last 3 Grand Prix. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for a thankful note here on Thanksgiving Eve. I would like to thank Dallas Cowboys rookie quarterback Dak Prescott for picking up his garbage on the sidelines. He's been the talk of the town in the NFL, and during Sunday's game against Baltimore, a victory he helped rally the boys to. Dak made a move to pick up his Gatorade cup after he had inadvertently missed the trash can. Cameras caught Prescott picking it up himself, and the internet can't seem to get enough of the moment. The video is viral and it has been watched more than 1.5 million times. Prescott told the Dallas Morning News more people need to pick up their trash. If it was that big of a deal, I just simply missed the garbage can and didn't think much of it. I got up and put my trash where it belongs. Now, if you're wondering why I'm thankful of this, it's not because Dak is good at picking up his garbage. No, Giant fans can see the crack in the armor, folks. He's completing 68% of his passes, but if he can't get a Gatorade cup in the trash can, how in the world is he going to beat the Giants? Mark your calendars, Sunday, December 11th, 8:30 p.m. prime time. Dak and the boys against Eli and the G-Men. In the meantime, enjoy Turkey Day, football fans, and be thankful for family, big meals, and Dak Prescott picking up the trash. That's your look at sports. I'm Bobby C.
Bobby, where are you going?
Oh, I thought we were saying goodbye.
Together.
Goodbye!
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You know what would be great? When are you going to invite me to one of the Knicks games? I am a Knicks fan.
You're going to have to ask Chris Busateri or Jorge Gomez, because
right,
you know, the
guys,
BronxNet boys
I've known you guys forever.
in
so
the building.
We got to do
Maybe.
this.
I'll see.
Have a great
All right,
Thanksgiving
you too.
to you and your family. We've come to the end of our show today. I'd like to thank all of our guests for joining us and for the viewers for tuning in. If you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the Cablecast at 5 and 10 p.m. on Cablevision Channel 67, Verizon Fios 33, or watch anytime on the web at BronxNet.org. That's you.
Oh, I'm Bobby Chappardini, and it's been a pleasure coming into your homes. Follow all of us at BronxNet. Have a safe and happy Turkey
And I'm
Day.
Veronica Guiti. Remember to let your light shine. Happy Thanksgiving.